Howdy, Sully from Tiger Bricks here, and today I have a review for you of the LEGO Creator Expert set number 10297, the Boutique Hotel. This set comes with 3,066 pieces, 7 minifigures, and retails in the United States for $230. Let's get into it. Taking a look at the instructions, we can see that we get a very large book, and this is expected with a set in this price range. But what's different about this is it will actually tell you a story as you're building it. So for example, here it just talks about how the art dealer really just likes art. I had a fun time reading these, and I thought it was pretty interesting that they included them. Taking a look at the minifigures, we have the budget traveler with a green shirt and a brown backpack, a well-dressed accountant who may be shopping for art, but is also probably staying at the hotel. We have the art store owner who has some peculiar glasses, but overall just looks like a normal minifigure, and the coffee vendor who has a little stand outside the hotel. Next up, we have a woman who is traveling the world and staying in the expensive suite in the hotel, and then we have one of the workers. She is a girl, but I don't think the torso is female, and then we have her male counterpart. This guy does all the heavy lifting with the luggage. So I never intended to actually go out and buy this set, but I did manage to find it for a very good deal and just felt like I had to snag it. I did get it brand new in box, and I built it myself. Of course, building it, I did realize again that you can't go wrong with buying a LEGO modular building because they're all going to be great, enjoyable builds, and the finished result is just incredible. While I didn't exactly understand how the angled look would look in a corner building, I'm pleasantly surprised. It doesn't work with a whole lot of stuff, but when you do find something that works with it, it looks great. Now, I don't have the LEGO modular building Parisian restaurant, and I think it would look really good next to this, and it somewhat reminds me of it with the rooftop restaurant. It certainly does look French. I don't know if it's necessarily Parisian, but it looks like something that I could go and see in New Orleans somewhere. Especially with the palm tree on the rooftop restaurant, it really feels like a Mardi Gras bead throwing sort of place. But as we come around to the front, just kind of imagine a building next to it, and you can see why I was kind of hesitant about even buying this in the first place, because there is a little bit of a gap that might look weird. And I'll show you guys how it connects to a few of the modular buildings after we wrap this up. I think that it might look good next to the Sanctum Sanctorum. You know, they both have the brown and the sand green, so it definitely could work. They're both corner buildings though, so it might look a little weird, and that's kind of my biggest fear. But despite all of that, again, really surprised with the angled look, and I love the look of the top dome and how it all comes together. Alright, my studio isn't exactly big enough to show this whole build all at once, so I'm just going to go ahead and show each floor individually and just tell you a little bit about it. So right away we can see I made a mistake when building. Those masonry bricks are facing the wrong way. And also, I should note that I added this to a Mills plate, so it's not directly on the base plate, it's a lot thicker and more sturdy. Taking off the rooftop restaurant, we can see into the art gallery, and there's a few abstract kind of things and a big square. Overall, it's just a tiny add-on build, I guess. Unfortunately, with these modular buildings, you're kind of just paying for the exterior. A lot of the interior details aren't really fleshed out all too well, although they have gotten better in the last 10 years, I can tell you that. Another thing to note is that the roof of each modular building floor is only held on by a few studs, so it comes apart easily and you can explore the inside, which I really love. And now for the interior, the main lobby of the boutique hotel, which I really like. The staircase is awesome, and there's also a red couch, some flower pots, and a keyboard. Not like a piano sort of thing, it's where they hang all their room keys at the front desk with the telephone right there. Super cool. The windows also let in a lot of light, and outside they have some flowers, so that's pretty cool. Up to the second floor, the middle floor if you will, we have the budget rooms. This is where the budget traveler is staying, of course, just some really tiny rooms. The shaping of the hotel, as you can see by this, is quite peculiar. It's sort of boxy, and then it comes into this rounded triangle piece. I really like the windows on this build in particular. They were kind of a pain to build, to be honest, but I think the end result is definitely worth it. There you can see the small room, just a small bed, a little rug, the stairs that go up to the top floor, And then over here, we have the bigger room, probably where the accountant is staying, with a bigger bed, a wardrobe, and a typewriter. For some reason, the bed build on this really stands out to me. I just like it in particular, I guess. If I were to personally design a modular building, I think I would go with something similar to that for a room. And that pretty much wraps up our pink, peachy second floor on this build. Before we get into the final floor, if you guys are still watching, let me know what you think in the comments and make sure to leave a like. This thing took 8 hours to build and cost $230, so if you guys like this and want to see more of it, just let me know. Anyways, back to the review. As far as this floor goes, it is by far my favorite. I really like the green color on the outside, the plants in the windowsills. It's just awesome. There's a sunroof on top that it's made of these little pieces that open up. The gates around the sides are cool, and this dome piece in front is definitely the best part, as well as the little patio under it, keeping things fresh. Let's go ahead and crack this open and take a gander at what's inside. And of course, this is where that retired woman globetrotter is staying, a super fancy suite. It's only got one entrance, and then she walks into her wardrobe and bed, and a giant bed at that, and a chair, a TV, a lamp, as well as an entire dedicated bathroom, which the other ones didn't really have. Can you imagine having to leave your room to use the bathroom? Well, actually, I don't think that's that uncommon as far as like New York apartments and college dorms go. But for a hotel, at least in my experience, it's kind of weird. There's a toilet, a sink, a very fancy bathtub, and it's all tied together with some toilet paper on the side. Such a fancy interior on this one. And of course, the outside is by far the best part. The windows again were a pain in the butt to build, but they look incredible in my opinion. So yeah, the building is great. Again, you can't really go wrong with buying a Lego modular building, even though this one is $230. It's a step up from the older police station, but I think they were raising prices. Obviously, the newer ones aren't going to be this cheap either. Now, as I promised in the beginning, now we're going to take a look at this building next to other modular buildings such as the police station right here. And looks like a modular building. Well, so I didn't do it earlier, but this set comes in at about 13 inches tall, as you can see here, and then the width and length are both the size of a 32 stud baseplate. And that's the great thing about modular buildings, is that you don't really even have to know what the set looks like. If you just plan on buying the next one, you know it's going to be 32 by 32 studs, and you can plan where to put it in your city or on your shelf. You'll know the exact size and how it'll fit. So this is obviously a very good pairing. The police station and the boutique hotel came out in adjacent years, and facing the other corner, I'm pleasantly surprised. They definitely designed it with in mind, you know, that it would be next to this one in particular, so it doesn't look too terrible, and I think they definitely get away with it. However, when I first saw this, it instantly reminded me of the Sanctum Sanctorum's color scheme, that sort of sand green and brown color, and these two just do not pair well in my opinion. The Sanctum in particular has a really tough time pairing with anything on that corner. It just doesn't look good, and even if we turn this around, it's not looking great. This isn't how it's supposed to be paired, obviously. It's just one of the possible connections, I suppose. The Sanctum really has to be paired with something that's going to hide this edge or create a super scary superhero alley, and this just isn't it. Now, when we actually put them how I think they look best together, it still doesn't look the greatest, but it's certainly an improvement to the last one. I guess it's just not really designed to go well with this. It sort of juts out more than the Sanctum Sanctorum and doesn't look too great in my opinion. Now, of course, corner buildings don't always have to go sandwiched together. There can be something in between. And I really like how this police station separates the Sanctum Sanctorum and the boutique hotel. It genuinely accentuates that sort of green roof and really makes all the colors pop, and I think it just looks great in this sort of combo. Maybe swap out the police station for something that you like, and it'll look great. But what I really like about this setup is how it makes this back alley look. It's just a pure line where all of the trash goes, and man, it just looks so good like this. I can't wait to have more modular buildings to line up with all of these, because I think it's going to look great. But that pretty much wraps up my review of the LEGO Creator Expert modular building, the Boutique Hotel. Just to reiterate, I was pleasantly surprised with this. I didn't think it would work with many modular pairings at all, but it actually does, and it looks great while doing it. Now, do I recommend this set? I think I do, but $230 is not nothing to sneeze at, you know? It's not just your everyday go buy it off the shelf Lego set. You really have to put a lot of time into this. $230, okay? And then you spend 7 hours building it, maybe even 8 to 10. Depends on how fast you build it. It took me at least 3 days. But it is a great build, so I do recommend it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more like this, consider subscribing, as that's always appreciated. See ya.